know how to fix it. I hate that it's not rotating right. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. But because we are a Gemini North Node and we're about to switch out of the North Node, we're getting ready. That's why we got this solar eclipse that we're in right now. We just left a week ago we had the lunar eclipse. Well, about 2 weeks because they're 2 weeks apart. So yeah, you always have a lunar eclipse first and then the solar. So yeah, so we're dealing with the Gemini and the communication. So that's for sure. And then Mercury's in Sag. So yeah. But I don't want to sit my phone like this. I'm gonna have to. I don't know how I'm gonna. Let me see. I'll have to do it like this then. All right. At least that's better. To me, it looks like it's better. It's straight. All right. So this energy is crazy. I'm gonna go through all signs, but I just want to do a little general intro about what's going on with the planets and what we're looking at as far as the placements. We got Uranus and Taurus. That's gonna be a player because that's squaring the Sag energy. First of all, let's talk about the Sag energy. Like we're gonna have the Sun, the Moon, Mercury, and the South Node of Sag all in Sag right now. These are crazy energies, so you definitely want to pay attention to where Sag is in your chart. And I'll go through all the signs briefly and just talk about what you may be experiencing. But it's very important. Everybody's going to be feeling a little something differently depending on where Sag is, but we're also dealing with other energies. There's Uranus and Taurus, all right? Uranus is in reverse right now. So that's going to be a major player in your chart. So you want to look at where Taurus is because that's squaring the Sag house, right? And so when something squares it, it's like agitating it in some way. It could be agitating it negatively or it could be agitating it positively, but it's agitating where the Sag house is, where all of these energies are. But you do have some help. So you have sextiling your Sag house is where Saturn and Aquarius are, right? So that would be in your for Sag, when I get started. But originally for Sag, the energies in their first house. Their third house is sextiling their first house. So the sextile is an opportunity to, use energy to help you, right? So you got some help here. But let's talk about, why some people may need help with these energies. The Sag energy itself, we got the South Node there. Now, if your North Node is your destiny, where you're supposed to go, your South Node is the energy of, the skills and energies that you may have learned from the past that you brought with you, but also some unfinished business. So that tends to be the negative aspect of your personality, what you want to move away from. So because the South Node is in Sag with all these energies, the South Node energy is going to be prevalent. And so South Node energy is, again, energy that you've already brought in with you, but also negative energy, because that's what the South house holds. So some of the negative things you got to be careful of, some of the positive things you got to be careful of with these energies. Some of you, if you don't want to have kids, you need to wrap up. Or you need to abstain, okay? Because these energies right now are potent and ripe for new life. We're dealing with a lot of moon energy, okay? The South Node of Sag is an element of the moon, okay? It's a mathematical placement based on the moon, and it has lunar energies. Then you have the new moon itself, okay? And then we have a solar eclipse. So we're dealing with a lot of lunar energy. So, we're all roughly 90%, 80% water. And we know what the moon does to the tides in the ocean. So we're just a smear drop of those tides in the ocean. The moon is controlling and manipulating our emotions and our energies, right? So we just got to be careful what's going on. And one of the things that can happen is you could get pregnant, right? But if you want to get pregnant, this is great baby making weather or great baby making energy. So for those of you who are interested in that, good to have at it. Good luck with you, or good luck to you. For those of you who don't want to have a baby, but you just want to practice making one, this is great energy for that as well. So just, protect yourself, strap up, and have a blast. This is also energy that because we're dealing with a lot of lunar energy, it messes with our emotions and our passions. So, tempers could flare. We have to be careful. Um, people can be a bit immature, or they could be kind of impulsive, these types of things. So we do have to be careful and mind our temper during this time and count to 10. All right. So with that being said, we're changing nodes. That's a major situation going on as well, that we're all feeling these pulls. Like we just had the what was it, the full moon lunar eclipse with Taurus 2 weeks ago, and now here we are. We're in a new sign, right? So we had that switch. Everything came over to Sag, all these planets. So we're dealing with a lot of energies. So we're going to talk about basically how it's affecting each sign. But some of the positives that could come from this as well is that, Sagittarius is the energy of foreign travel. This is the energy of the somebody who has great aspirations, somebody who's adventurous in nature, somebody who looks at the glass half full. So a lot of you may be starting to feel this energy wherever Sag is in your house, right? Or in your chart. This is also the energy of an intellectual, people deciding to go back to school or just doing research or going into the lab. Those of us who like to go in the lab and just hop into our studies, whatever it is we're zoning out on. This is energy ripe of that, especially with Neptune going direct, definitely. But these are some of the positive things you may feel about it. You may feel that you want to be independent and rocking your own unique zone, which is dope, all right? Because that's, to me, I love that. I love that. That's pure Aquarius energy, and I'm so about that. So, your third house is going to give you the opportunity to do that, for Sag anyway. But wherever Aquarius is for you, whatever house Saturn and Aquarius is for you, you can use these opportunities to tap into, whatever it is you want to be independent from. Maybe some of you are moving out of someone's home, or now you're going to be independent, no matter what your circumstance, age, or what have you. There could be an energy of independence now. Some of you starting your own businesses. Some of you having the courage to resist manipulative energies or manipulative authority, right? But we do have to be careful of the negative aspects of that too, being too stubborn, and that's where people's tempers flares and things like that. But with Taurus, that's another part of the chart that's going to be highly affected by this Sagittarius energy. We're looking at moving towards peace, being comfortable, enjoying the good things in life. That's Taurus energy. Comfort, stability, preservation of good things, right? So you're going to be able to realize and recognize these things, or these things are going to be put in place for you to really look at and determine how you feel about them. So these are what these energies are going to be bringing us. And with the nodes changing, this is preparing us for the node change. Taurus is going to be the new north node. Scorpio is going to be the new south node as of January 18. And the interesting thing is that we're talking about Aquarius energy and Taurus energy. And Uranus rules Aquarius, and it's in Taurus right now. And Uranus is going to go direct the same day that the nodes change. So, this Aquarius energy, this Taurus energy, and Sag is really just pushing it off. Sag is helping us to get rid of old shit. Old energies that we no longer need from the last 18 months of this Gemini North Node, Sagittarius South Node energy. Like we're clearing out, and now we're going to start a new 18 months. I think the nodes move every 18 months from signs to sign, right? So we're at that period now where we're leaving Gemini. This is why all of this lunar energy is closing out and eclipsing out all of these things that we had to get rid of, these feelings, these emotions, these things that we decided to leave, these karmic cycles. Many of us have closed out karmic cycles. Many of us have actually settled karmic debt, or gotten to the point where we settled a major piece of karmic debt from a past life, right? And so a lot of people are starting to feel that energy clear. We're all coming out of a settling out of the rubble, coming out of the rubble energy, so to speak, right now. So this is the energy we're in. So it's a bit mixed for everybody, but we'll go into it. I know you hear the sirens. That's another thing with the moon energy. You know, got to be careful out here. Take care of yourselves. Make sure that you are right. Your people are all right. These energies can be very tricky. We're playing on temperance energy, the alchemy, playing on our alchemy with this lunar energy. So But let's get into the houses, like, right? So I'm gonna start with Sag, and I'm gonna timestamp this. I'm gonna just make a note to timestamp it because I know a lot of people want to watch it, but I know I would get turned off if they didn't have any timestamps. I'm like, I'm not searching through all of that just to search the ones I want to watch. But so I'm gonna do my best to timestamp that. So give me time if you don't see it right away, especially those of you who are watching this right after I do this live. So let's start with Sag. So Sag, you got all this energy in your first house. Your first house is the house of self-awareness, how you feel about yourself, and what you do to stand up for yourself. This is your leadership house, decision making house, right? This is the house where you decide what it is that you need to do and how you're going to do things. And so with all of this energy in that house, you are at a point where you're clearing out all of the negative things that we are leaving behind as we're switching. So in your first house, you're aware of this. You're thinking about this. Now, what's agitating that energy is your Taurus house, which is your sixth house. All right. So this is for Sagittarius. So you want to look at your sixth house because your sixth house is where Taurus is, and Uranus is there in retrograde. So with Uranus there in retrograde, you're thinking about, okay, what is it that's going to make me feel comfortable? What's going to make me feel at peace? What's going to make me feel at ease? How can I put myself in a position where I'm happy and content? That's what everybody's going to be dealing with when the North Node goes to Taurus. This is what we're all going to be feeling. Uranus is there in reverse, helping us to shift to find out what it is we want. And then when Uranus goes direct and the North Node becomes Taurus, that's where we're going to be moving forward towards, right? So you're thinking about this. Now, what's going to help you, Sagittarius, is taking advantage of that Saturn and Aquarius energy. For you, it's in your third house. So when we're dealing with the third house, we're dealing with your ideas. So you're in a position right now where you're trying to figure out, you're looking at different things that you may have done or experienced, because the third house deals with your lifestyles, your life choices. So you're evaluating these things and you're trying to determine, okay, what is it that I'm not going to do anymore? What doesn't serve me anymore? And this is what you're doing here in the area of your ideas and thoughts. Okay, I used to think this way, but I've changed. Or, this is the right to change your mind. I like this house because the third house talks about, to me, the right to change your mind, the right to decide what it is that you want to do versus what you don't want to do, and say, okay, good, I'm with this, or I'm not with it anymore. I used to be, right? So this is what you're going to be dealing with in reference to all sorts of things in your life. Okay, your day-to-day habits, the things you do every day, you're going to be focused on those things. And you're going to be focused on your surroundings. Some of you may want to move. Some of you may want to relocate. Some of you may find refuge in these answers that you seek by taking a drive. Some people like to just get on the road. Some of you, that might be beneficial for you, Sag. All right. So that's what I'm showing what's going on with Sag. Can I see the timestamp? I don't see oh, 6, I think what is it? Insane. I can't see it. But I'll have to go back. So we're gonna get done with Sag. So that's where Sag is gonna be feeling it. That's how Sag is gonna be feeling it. And so that's your first house, so that's really important for you in that manner. Let's take a look at Cap. So Cap, we got your fifth house, your 12th house, and your second house. So with Capricorn, you have your 12th house. That's the house of your unconscious mind. You got all this energy in your unconscious mind. This is usually the house that we have the least control over. So your dreams probably would be really crazy, Cap. I would pay attention to your dreams. I would write down whatever you could, right? Because it could have some type of impact on you in some way, shape, or form moving forward, right? Especially with all these energies here. So the 12th house, the house of the unconscious mind. Wow, you got the sun here, the moon here, the south node, and the Mercury energy. Mercury is processing all of that information from all of these planets, you know? So what Mercury does is it filters out the information. It doesn't care about how you feel about it or if there's any emotion that's evoked from it. It just deals with logic, emotion. Logic, what the idea is, what the information is, what the communication is. So your subconscious is basically cleaning itself out. So you may be having weird dreams, Cap. All right. And that's okay. Write that stuff down. You don't have to remember everything. What you do want to try to focus on is how you felt Like, okay, were you scared in a dream? Then if you were, then you may want to try to look at what's going on in your world. What are you hesitant to start? What are you scared to lose? What are you scared to gain? That type of thing. But pay attention to your dreams. Now, what's going to be agitating your dreams is Uranus in retrograde in Taurus, and for you, that's your fifth house, right? So that's the house of your creativity, your artistic energy, your childhood, the essence, your inner child, right? This is also the house of dating and like your situationships and your love affairs, your one night stands. This is the house where you get lucky with money, okay? So I think some of you should play the lotto, get you a scratch off or go to the casino, see what's up. Don't go crazy, but see what's up. All right. And if you win or you hit, let me know in the comments. Come back and let me know, please. All right. So that energy is being transformed there in your fifth house. So that's what's agitating your conscious, is the fact that your creativity may have been stifled from whatever you were letting go of or whatever you should be letting go of. So you're going to be subconsciously feeling that transition. You may be a little tired. You may want to sleep a lot. Okay, it's because that's where all of that clearing out for you with these lunar energies is going to be happening. Now, what's going to be helping you, or what can help you, is by you tapping into your second house. That's where Aquarius is for you. Saturn is what we're looking for, right? So your second house deals with your self-esteem, your self-worth. That's your psychological makeup. It talks about your insecurities. So if you don't feel secure about something and you're not comfortable with it, this energy right now is beautiful for you because it's going to put it to you in your mindset where it's like, okay, yeah, I don't want this, I do want this. And then it's going to give you that fuel to change it. So maybe it was something that never bothered you before. Now all of a sudden with these energies, you may be like, damn, I never even thought of that before. Let me go ahead and switch that up. So if it comes to you, pay attention to your intuition and your dreams. It's very important for you to do that, Cap City. So that's how these energies could be affecting you all. So let's move on to Aquarius. So Aquarius, we got your fourth house, your 11th house, and your first house that are going to be affected. Where's my first? I made some notes here because I want to make sure I stay on topic. Because, I'll just start zoning out. I like to talk. So you see how smoothly I'm moving through these now. So, okay, Aquarius. So your Sagittarius, all this big ball of Sagittarius energy for you is in your 11th house, right? This is the house of your group consciousness. This is the house of your mentality. This is the house of where you're pressured to conform to society. This is the house where you think about the collective. If you think about them at all, depends on what placements you have or how little. But this area here is where Sagittarius is at. So for some of you, you're going to be looking at the people around you. You're going to be looking at the people you socialize with. You're going to be seeing if these are people that you still want to continue to connect with, or if you want to eclipse this energy with these energies we're experiencing right now. Now, what could be agitating that energy or those thoughts is Uranus and Taurus, and for you, it's in the fourth house. Now, the fourth house has to do with your personal, private feelings. It also could have something to do with family. So maybe you're having these thoughts about family members, Aquarius, okay? It could be that, you're thinking about what's going on within the group, whether it's family members, whether it's friends in the organization that you're in, your frat brothers, your sorors, okay? Whatever group you're in. And maybe what's agitating that is your personal feelings about the situation or how things are going. The energy you can use to better the situation would be for you to take on the energies of your first house, because this is where Saturn is for you. It's right in your first house. Saturn is your co-ruler. So, the first house is all about leadership abilities, decision-making skills, you having to have the pressure to decide what it is you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to do it, taking a stand, right? So this is what's going to help benefit you using these energies here, because you're in a situation here where you see people who may not be connecting for whatever reason, and you as Aquarius energy, you want what's best for everybody. So it looks like you may end up taking a stand to do so, or you may question taking a stand to bring a particular collective together. You're weighing the pros and the cons of that. And for some of you, it's about your family members. So your family members could be at odds. And so you're considering, what the wise thing to do would be. All right. So that could be some example. It doesn't necessarily mean that's what's going on with Aquarius, but a lot of them could be dealing with that. All right. But there's things going on with the family. Okay. For some. All right. So let's move on to Pisces. I made some notes here. Like I said, it's helping me to keep on track. So Pisces, your third house, your 10th house, and your 12th house are affected. So let me get my notes because I don't want to. Pisces is, all right. So yeah, the 10th house. The 10th house has to do with your reputation, how you see yourself, how people see you. Um, it also deals with your moral fiber, like your ethics, like where you say, okay, this is, you have the law that says, don't do this, right? But your internal law in you that says, hey, this is something I am not going to do. I'm not going to stand for this, or this is something I'm not going to allow, or this is something I will fight for, you know? So your morals, your values, it also has to do with your career aspirations, what you do to get where you are career-wise, right? So we're dealing with Sagittarius in that area for you, Pisces. So the workplace could be very important for you right now. Not for everybody, but for some, right? If it's not the workplace, it's your reputation. Or some of you, you could be dealing with law and government. Some of you could be dealing with court cases, rules, things like that. Now, what could be agitating that area of your life is Uranus and Taurus, and for you, that's in your third house. So what we're talking about here is the third house is your perspective on things, um, how you see things, the different things you've experienced as far as your lifestyle, how you've lived, where you live, these types of things. So that is basically agitating maybe your reputation or how you see yourself. So maybe some of you are like, yeah, okay, you know what? I had some bad energy in this place where I was at. This is not a city for me, or this is not a town for me. Let me go somewhere and start fresh because the energy here is tainted for me for whatever reason. It could be because of how people see you or how you see them, something like that. So that could be an example. For others of you, it could be this 10th house energy could just be career aspirations, what you want to do to make money, how you want to make money. And some of you, you have to really sit down and figure out, okay, well, how do I want to go about doing this? What can I do? Can I write a book? Can I do speeches? Can I teach? How can I, so I'm talking to my teachers out there, those of you who inspire in various ways, right? So some of you are debating on going back to school for teaching, for example, right? So those are just different examples for Pisces, but the energies that you can use to help you come to a solution would be for you to tap into your 12th house, your subconscious mind. So meditate. Whatever it is you do to meditate. Some people walk to meditate. Some people listen to a particular type of music to meditate. Some people sit someplace quietly. Some people light up a spliff. All right? Some people have a sip. Whatever you do. Okay, some people sleep. You need to listen to your messages that you're getting unconsciously, right? So get your rest, Pisces. Okay, that's where your Aquarius energy is. All right, your Saturn energy rather, right? Both of them are there. So you with the 12th house there, that's what's going on subconsciously, right? So I feel like you're clearing out energy subconsciously because you've cleared out karmic debt as well, okay? From a past life. So you did and Capricorn did, okay? So that could be what you would be experiencing for Pisces. Let me move to Aries now. I wrote a little something for my Aries massive. Shout out to Aries. All right, so it's Aries. This is affecting your second house, your ninth house, and your 11th house. There's my 9 and 11. Here's my 11. All right, and my 9. So, Aries, Sagittarius, all this energy with Sagittarius, the north node. The south node, the sun, the moon, Mercury, all of that energy, the new moon energy, the solar eclipse energy, all of that energy is in your ninth house, Aries. All right? This is the house of your higher self, your higher mind. This is the house of the wisdom you've gained from experiences if you had, and now you live your life based on, okay, this is what I will do, this is what I won't do, right? So this energy here is being agitated, and this is also where your spiritual beliefs are, for those of you who are spiritual. And then this is where your religious energy is at as well, for those of you who are religious or those of you who go back and forth. But it's basically for those who don't believe in religion or spirituality or God or what have you. This is, your life philosophy, how you look at things based on what you've experienced. So this energy here for you, Aries, is going to be agitated, either negatively or positively, by your second house. That's where Uranus is in retrograde for you. Now, this is the house of your psychological insecurity. This is the house this is one of the very important houses, because this is the house where, say on average, you're a toddler or you're a young baby, you can't even talk yet. This is the house where you determine your self-value, your self-worth. And that's based on if people pay attention to you when you cry as a child. This is how you get people's attention. You get people to do things for you. You cry, right? If your parent doesn't come to you right away, or don't come to you at all, you got those people who just let their baby cry, not judging, but telling you this is what happens. Sometimes people don't pay attention to it. It's like, they always crying, whatever, whatever. I'm not judging you. Just saying that some people do that, right? So they don't ignore the child. So the child gets programmed to understand that, okay, when I cry, nobody comes, so I'm not going to say anything. So if this continues on as the child grows up, then this child will attract relationships here where they attract that same type of behavior. So, this energy here is being reprogrammed for you, Aries. This is very important. So the things you learned as a child are being reprogrammed for you with this energy. This is deep, okay? So this is the house, like I said, of your psychological insecurity. This is the house where, it plays with your mindset in reference to, do you have enough? This is the house of survival. Do I have enough to provide what I need? It's the second house. That's where Taurus rules, right? So do I have enough? Can I provide for myself? That type of thing. And so, yeah, that energy is being challenged or agitated. It's agitating this ninth house energy. And they're back and forth agitating each other. Now, a solution for this for you, Pisces, would be for you to tap into your 11th house energy, because this is where Saturn is for you. So, this is the energy of your friends, people people you connect with, community resources. Maybe some of you do need counseling, because we're dealing with the second house, which is your psychological makeup, right? And so maybe some of you are looking for help to help reprogram that. Maybe some of you just want to get a past life reading, so you can understand why this energy came towards you in this life, why you're dealing with it, right? And so I feel like once you do that, you'll be able to settle some karmic debt as well, just like Pisces was able to, and just like Capricorn was able to do with this energy, right? But it's all about free will and choice. You have to want to do it, but the opportunity is there. So this is how this energy is going to be affecting Aries. All right, so let's see how it's going to be affecting Taurus, because Taurus, Uranus is in your first house in retrograde right now, and you've been dealing with that for a minute. So a lot of y'all have been going through things with family members, friends, in reference to have you outgrown these people? Do you still want to continue to connect with these people? A lot of these people are trying to control you, and you're realizing just how controlling they were. Some of you have been kind of stagnant in reference to moving forward and getting out of these connections, but this energy is really affecting you, especially now that we're going to be going from Gemini North Node to Taurus North Node. So the North Node is going to be all up in your ass, right? And with Uranus there right now in retrograde, doing what it's doing to you now, by the time it goes direct and the North Node changes, which is all on the same exact day in your first house, you are going to be in a position where this is going to catapult you to a whole nother level. Like, you're going to notice a distinct, when you look back on your life, you're going to remember this time frame here, right? As far as major changes that you went through and levels of maturity, you're going to think of that. Now, all of this energy for you, Taurus, as far as all of this Sagittarius energy, it's in your 8th house. Now, this is the other house of your psychology, okay? Taurus, the second house is the house of, what's happened to you. But the 8th house is the opposite energy of it, and it's, okay, how you act, how can I say this? The eighth house is a psychological house. The eighth house talks about what it does is it looks at what caused the psychological insecurity. You see that psychological insecurity present in the second house. But the eighth house is why it happened. Because the eighth house is, that deep scorpionic energy where we hold on that fixed water. We hold on to those emotions until Pluto, goes retrograde and makes us puke it all up. So the eighth house is where everything hides, your feelings about everything, what you've been through, some unresolved conflict that's never been resolved since you were a kid and you're still holding on to it. Anything that happens with other people, because we're dealing with other people's energy, this is affecting you as well, okay? So this energy is going in, and what's agitating it is the energy of your first house with Uranus there and retrograde. So this is you're being prompted by these emotions in the eighth house and these other people's energies. You're being prompted to take a stand. You're going to be in a situation, like I said earlier, making decisions about the people you deal with, taking control of situations that you were normally not in control of, right? Understanding that you may have to separate from these people. So some of you are going to be going through like maybe a dark night of the soul, or some of you are going through that right now, right? Standing up for yourself and saying no. What I say is what I want, and and we're not going to ignore that anymore. And that takes a lot of courage. That takes a lot of, especially if you were always programmed, especially from a kid, and then you attract relationships that reinforce that you're not as important, or that you should put your needs to the side. You're going through a major change now where you're like not looking at it that way anymore. This is why relationships are falling apart for you. But that is a beautiful thing, because that means that you're growing. It may not feel that way, but this is good for you. And this is how you can take advantage of it, by tapping into the 10th house energy, because that's where Saturn is for you. Saturn is telling you, look, the time is up for that. We have something new for you here. All right? You can take things to the next level. So what you're also doing is you're changing people's perspective about you. You're changing your reputation. They may have known you for being able to walk all over you, do you the way they want to do you, talk to you like shit, and then they come back and you let them back in. Now what you're doing is you're taking a stand with that first house energy, and you're letting people know, look, this is how shit rocks over here. We're not doing this anymore over here. Okay, if you're not going to respect me, you're going to step that way, and that's that. And if these people refuse to do it, then it's like, okay, now it's like, okay, well, what is the problem? You may have to step away from these people. I don't know. Some of you may feel like you may need to move out of where you are. Okay, you may need to move away from your environment. Some of you may be moving out. It could be people that you live with, that you are experiencing this with. But you're really going to be questioning. It's like, oh, okay, this is who you thought I was? Oh no, this is not who, you know what I mean? So you're going to be looking at how people treat you, and they're going to be telling you how they feel about you, and you're not going to like it, or you're going to, and you're going to change it. So that's what I feel like is going on with Taurus. Now we're going on to Gemini. Gemini, you're feeling all of this ball of Sagittarius energy in your 7th house. This is the house of your partnerships, the house of relationships, right? How you politic with people, how you connect with people, to tell people what it is that you want out of the negotiation, out of the relationship, whether it be a family relationship, a friendship, a business partnership, or intimate relationship, right? So your 7th house is where all of this energy is coming into play. So what you're basically doing is Mercury is just looking at, okay, what is the sun shining a light on? Because the sun is there. Okay. Now the moon is telling you what's the hidden energy that's being revealed to me. The South Node energy is telling me, okay, what's the negative aspects of Sagittarius that are being presented here since we're in this house. Mercury's processing all of that information for you in terms of your relationships. Now, what's agitating this energy is Uranus in retrograde, which for you is going to be your 12th house, right? Your 12th house is your unconscious mind. So you also are in a position where you're being judged for karmic debt, okay? Or whatever situation you are in, that you have this change here, this opportunity to change. It represents you closing out some type of karmic debt, all right? And that's dope that you got the opportunity. So Gemini, you may not understand what you're feeling right now, but you closing out certain chapters with people, okay, is what you're supposed to do, and you're going to settle a lot of karmic debt. And what you can use as far as the energy to help you with this is to tap into your 9th house energy. right? Because that's what's going to help you. This is what's sextiling your seventh house. So with this seventh house energy, actually the ninth house is where Saturn is for you. This is you realizing, okay, I know I tried this connection with you. We've tried a relationship. It didn't work. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to learn from that and I'm going to move forward. Also, what's going to happen with a lot of us, just a side note from Gemini, but for all of us, we are going to be represented with situations from the past to confirm if we've actually learned, because Sagittarius is all about wisdom, right? How do you get wisdom? From going through something, learning from it, and moving on, knowing the mistakes that you made so that you don't make those mistakes again. That's wisdom. So with Mercury there, Mercury is just basically running a script on you, saying, okay, here, I'm going to run your file. This is everything you went through, whether you feel a certain way about it, right? The sun is there shining light on that script. So it's like, oh, okay, I could see what you was talking about. And then the moon is there too. So now we could see how you felt, you know, on the low about it. So it's just assessing everything for you with this lunar energy here, this new moon energy. We're closing out, we're eclipsing out all of that energy so we can start fresh for the Taurus, North Node, Scorpio, South Node season. So you're running all this through your higher mind and you're putting all this into play, because now what's going to happen is you're going to change your lifestyle or your philosophy based on these things that you've been through, these energies that you're closing out from a past life. You've learned a lesson. So you're wiser now in this lifetime. So moving forward, you won't make that mistake again. You won't be involved in that type of test anymore. So that's going to be very deep for you, Jimmy. So congratulations to you, because you are another one of the signs that have the opportunity to close out some karmic debt from a past life. So a lot of us are experiencing that. So that's pretty dope. So we're going to move on to Cancer. Cancer, Cancer, Cancer. Cancer, we're dealing with your 11th house. We're dealing with your 6th house and your 8th house. So where all of this energy for you is in your 6th house. Now your 6th house is like the house of like your responsibilities and your duties and how you handle responsibility, right? It talks about your routines and your patterns and the way you set up what you do, whether you know you're somebody who lays on a couch all day or whether you're someone who has a planner and you follow your planner to the T, right? So it's looking at the way that you do things, the habits you develop, okay, the patterns you develop. It looks at your work ethic or lack thereof. It also looks at your open enemies, right? So all of the Sagittarius energy is looking in that area of your house. Now, what's agitating that is energies for Uranus retrograde, but for you, it's in the 11th house. So what could be agitating this energy of you and your routines and your schedules and everything changing is the fact that you could be joining different groups, or you could be switching up, connecting with like-minded people. Or I feel like I just feel like you're switching friends, right? Gemini's, y'all got a lot of friends from everywhere anyway. So I feel like you're just switching up groups. Like you might be in a position where you're rotating now. Like, okay, I'm already a member of this group. I know who everybody here. I talked to all of them already. We cool. All right. You know you can't sit still sometimes, Gemini. You want something to do. You want more information. You want more knowledge. So you join another organization. So some of you, so I just feel like a big switch. Everybody's like, switch. Everybody's just switching up, like, okay, I'm jumping from one circle to another. So I see that a lot in business with networking. I see that as far as it could be as large as global energy switching up and people jumping around from business to business, establishing partnerships. Or it could be on a minor scale where you just like, okay, well, this is my bar for the last 10 years on Friday nights. I'm about to switch it up and I'm about to go up to Lulu's now. Switch, right? It could be something as simple as that, but you're switching up now is what I'm feeling here. And so the energies that are agitating all of that are your routines are going to be changing up. You're not going to be doing the same things you used to do. Maybe some of you are going to be participating in things that you've never done before, right? So your schedule switching. You could be going to school. Who knows? It could be that you're working now. Your work schedule switching things up, right? So there's some change with that. But the way that you can take advantage of this is by looking at the energies of your 8th house, because that's where Saturn is for you. So, with the 8th house, we're dealing with some of you are going to school. So you're applying for student loans. That's other people's money. Some of you are joining organizations where you're able to, I feel it's just partnerships. People associating with different businesses associating with businesses, getting together, combining their energies, combining their money, and investing in things. We're dealing with Taurus North Node. I see this coming towards the future because we're dealing with Taurus North Node, which is about making money, and Scorpio South Node, which is about other people's money, right? So Cancer, you got some money making opportunities here, especially when it comes to business. So you definitely want to network. All right. I would definitely recommend that, but be careful of the people you're dealing with and just make sure that, you're not being used by other people because, you got to be careful with the eighth house energy that involves other people's energy, other people's money. And so, this is the energy where a lot of people get used, taken advantage of, because there's a lot of manipulation in the eighth house. That's why the eighth house has manipulation, right? Because of the fact that we're dealing with other people and we don't truly know their intention, right? So that could happen. So just be careful with the people that you're doing business with. Make sure you, vet them out. Take time. Don't rush signing any contracts that you're not comfortable with. Make sure you put all the legal situation and your legal paperwork in place. Make sure your documents are filed correctly. Make sure you're paying your taxes, and you should be good to go. Cancer, make that money. All right, let's go to Leo. So Leo, we're you got your 10th house, your 5th house, and your 7th house affected, right? So all of the Sagittarius energy for you is in your 5th house. Now, Leo, you usually run the 5th house, all right? But for you, that's where Sag energy is. Now, the 5th house, you already know what time it is, Leo. You know what it is. But let me tell them about it who don't know. So the 5th house is the house of your creativity, that inner child, that fire in you that won't, you know what I mean? It's just like, I can't even put in a word into it, but Leo is a beautiful energy. It's an energy of you can develop and create anything you want. Whatever you are naturally gifted at, it comes in this house. This is also the house of what you do for fun, okay? This is also the house of gambling, casino, playing a lotto. So play the number, Leo, all right? Let me know if you win. If if you go to the casino, if you play the number, somebody else is playing a number too. I forget who it was, but you and was it Capricorn, Sagittarius, Capricorn, or Aquarius? It was Aquarius. Yeah, because they're your opposite polarity. Play the number. So, yeah, so the 5th house is where you're experiencing all of this energy. It's also the house of childishness, okay? People being immature, your children, okay? And what's agitating that house is Uranus in retrograde, which is for you, it's your 10th house. So this is the house of your career, the house of your reputation, how people see you, also how you see yourself. Whether it's, hey, that's Jim down the street with the blue, the blue bicycle, to, hey, oh, that's Jim, Jim Gentry. He's a local dentist. Whatever, however people know you, right? We're also dealing with your morals, all right? You could be looking at yourself and saying, okay, maybe there are some places that I need to grow. And what's agitating that is your 10th house. It could be something about your reputation or how people treat you. And you're like, wait a minute, why are people don't take me seriously? Okay, maybe I should be a little bit more serious, or maybe I should find out why people are not taking me serious. Something like that, right? Why people may think you're a joke or you play a lot, or those are just examples. But you may be uncomfortable with what it is that you see based on how people are treating you. You're looking at it like, wait a minute. Also, it could be about love affairs, one night stands, and you having a reputation, of somebody who's maybe not interested in relationships. Um, some of you may want to be in a relationship, but you may be questioning why you're not in one. And it could be because of people's perception of you, how they see you, based on how you carry yourself. Maybe you run around and you have a lot of people around you, or maybe people's perception is that you got a lot of people around you. So that could be what's going on. It could be other people's perception, or it could be behavior that people see and they say, okay, well, I see why you're not in a happy relationship. Look at the type of people you run with, and you always switching up. I don't know. So just an example. But the energies you can use to fix this, or to find a workable solution, would be for you to tap into your 7th house energy. That's the energy of partnerships. That's the energy of relationships. That's the energy of looking at other people's perspective and point of view, and do things to help bring balance. So your partner could be coming to you. Somebody could be coming to you telling you they have an issue with your behavior. And maybe you're not interested in listening, because that you listening and paying attention would have to contribute to you growing, right? And so you're questioning it now because it's showing up in different areas of your life where you may need to grow, or may you opportunities are being presented to you where you're able to grow, or there are things being pointed out to you, Leo, where you may feel like, okay, there's so much I don't know, right? So you're going to have the opportunity to take advantage of that. Maybe you want to go back to school, some of you, all right? Some of you could be worrying about where you want to put your kids as far as school. Some of you are looking at different schools, shopping around for different schools for your children. I do see that too. So those are just some general things that Leo might deal with, but it definitely could be about money as well. Um, you may come into a lot of money, and maybe you may want to consider investing it, okay? Finding out how to invest it, who to invest it in, where you can invest it, right? And so the best way to figure that out is to talk with a financial advisor. So some of you could be in a position of looking for a financial advisor to figure out what you want to do. Some of you could find out that maybe you're having a baby. You know, that could be it. This energy is baby making energy. All right. So some of you, yeah, you may have a child, and maybe you're not ready for a child, you know, or you had a child when you were young, and maybe that's something you're thinking about with this energy. It could be a whole bunch of different things, Leo. But that's some of the things you're going to be thinking about, is things that maybe that happened to you as a child, or the way you perceive things in a childhood, or a childish way. If it's not about that, then it's about quick money and making some money. You're looking for some long-term money. Some of you could be looking for a job. I do see that a lot. So, you know, good luck to you. I feel like some of you are going to be changing your career, or considering changing career fields because of your creative energy. You're not feeling creative. You want to tap into that energy. And maybe some of you are in an environment where that's not, whatever you're doing right now is not working for you. So you're thinking about changing up. So this is how these energies may be affecting you. All right, Leo. So let's move on to Virgo. So Virgo, you're going to be dealing with these energies in your ninth house, your fourth house, and your sixth house. So all of these Sagittarius energies for you are in your fourth house. What's the fourth house? The fourth house deals with your personal feelings, right? What you do behind closed doors, your private life, right? It also deals with the nurturing energy that you were raised with. All right, it deals with your bloodline, your roots, your heritage, right? So this energy of Sagittarius, the new moon, the sun, the solar eclipse, the south node, the Mercury energy, all of that is going to be in your fourth house. So your emotions may be a little all over the place, Virgo, right? So it could be your home life as well, what's going on in your home. So all of these energies of your home life, your personal feelings, things going on with your family. This also has to deal with your psychology as well, and your connection to your family and the family psychology. The energies that are going to be agitating that for you are energies of the ninth house, because that's where Uranus in retrograde is for you, Virgo. Now, you know, the ninth house has to do with your philosophy on things, has to do with your religious beliefs if you're religious, your spiritual beliefs if you're spiritual. It has to do with the fact that you've learned from experience, and now you have that wisdom. It has to do with foreign travel as well. All right, higher education like PhDs, masters. Um, yeah, and just being, you know, also the energy of taking risks, being optimistic, that type of energy. So that's what's agitating your family life or your personal or private feelings. But for you to get resolution, Virgo, you may want to tap into your sixth house. All right. And you usually run the sixth house. So you want to tap into your sixth house energy, because that's where Saturn is. Saturn is changing up your patterns. It's telling you, okay, some things are not working anymore in reference to, you know, your family versus what you know now, what you've experienced. You may look at a situation now where you may see dysfunctionality in your relationships with your family members. And you may say, you know what, I need to change up how I communicate with these people and how I deal with these people, right? So that could be an example of what you could be experiencing, Virgo, with these energies, whether it's family members, people close to you, friends, but your personal feelings are going to be changing for people. And as a result of your personal feelings changing, it's because you know better. You've seen what these people, how they get down, what they're about, and you realize that they're not going to change. So you realizing that you're going to be the one to have to make the change if you want, you know, what you want out of life. So that's something that some of you are going to be dealing with. So could be some family issues, who knows? But hopefully It won't. It could be a positive thing. It could be like where you're not speaking to a family member, and maybe, this energy with the Uranus and Taurus being in your ninth house is telling you, maybe the fair thing to do or the right thing to do would be to reach out. And so instead of not talking, you're tapping into that sixth house energy, and you're saying, okay, we ain't been in the habit of talking. Let me reach out. So it could be family members reconnecting, getting back together, thinking about other family members, or it could be the opposite. But it's really about your personal feelings about these things. And if it's not about personal family connections, then it's just, how you feel about the connections you have in your life, period. Right? And just changing up so that you'll be happy. So that's what I got for you, Virgo, and how you're going to be feeling or what you may be dealing with. Let's move on to Libra, and then we got Scorpio, and we're all done. So, Libra, we're dealing with the eighth house, the third house, and the fifth house for you. So, this Sagittarius energy, all of that energy we talked about, the sun, the moon, the solar eclipse, the new moon, the Mercury, the south node, all of that for you, Libra, is in your third house. So your third house is, what does that deal with? That deals with your perspective on things, how you look at things, your ideas, your views, how you express them. Um, it deals with your how you grew up, like the things that shaped your views growing up, the neighborhood you grew up in, or where you live now. The neighborhood and the environment that you're in, all of that plays a part in your ideas and your thoughts, right? We also talk about writing and teaching. So some of you are teachers. So some of you, for example, the energies that are being agitated here, these energies are being agitated by your eighth house energy. So your eighth house energy for you is where Uranus is in retrograde, Libra. So for you, this is energy of other people, okay? Because we're dealing with other people's energy, other people's money, other people's rules, other people's regulations. So this other people's energy is agitating your ideas and views, or it's causing you to think about different things in reference to, it could be your environment, your surroundings, it could be your siblings, okay? And just how you connect and correlate with them. And then the positive energies that you can use to help you to get through this would be to tap into your fifth house energy, right? This is all about tapping into child. So some of you could be dealing with some childhood issues, some childhood wounds, okay? So some of you could be, Libra and Virgo, y'all could be on the cusp. I just did Virgo. So there could be some family issues here too, for those of you who are Virgo, Libra cuspers, right? Where there's issues with the family or some things that went on in the immediate environment. This could be with external family members, where Virgo could be more so where it's with the mother, where Libra could be more so where it's with a cousin or an auntie or something like that. That's just in general. Doesn't necessarily mean that. But I do feel like some of you could be dealing with some issues with just your ideas and your views about things. If it's not about where you live, your environment, your surroundings. Some of you could be having issues with your landlord or your neighbor or your environment where you are. You may want to move. Some of you, you may be thinking about, okay, well, I got to go someplace where you got to come up with some quick money, because the fifth house is implemented here for you, where Saturn is. Some of you, you may want to move, but you may be limited because you don't have enough money to move yet. You may have to save up. So some of you could be trying to figure out creative ways to figure out what you need to do to get money. Some of you could be doing something creative. Some of you could be cooking. Some of you may be wanting to paint. Some of you may be wanting to tap into your creative energy to make money. Displaying your art in the local communities, in the local neighborhoods, getting advertisement. Maybe some of you may want to start a YouTube channel with whatever you got going on. But I feel like, Libra, there's going to be an energy here of you connecting with other people to make some things happen. All right. And I feel like you're going to make some money. You're going to make some quick money, but it's going to allow you to be very creative, which is going to be beautiful for you, because you are Venus. Venus is creative, beautiful, artistic. Venus needs to be able to create. Like, where would we be if Venus wasn't able to create? I wouldn't want to know that world. But that's what I got for you, Libra, and how the energies might be affecting you. But Scorpio, last but not least, because I started with Sag because it's Sag season. So you are here as the last time I'm going to do for the night. Shout out to the Scorpios, my peoples. All right. So Scorpio, you're dealing with these energies in your second house. That's where Sag is for you. So this is the house of your psychological insecurities. All right. This is the house of what you learned as a child, as far as how you were treated, as far as your self-value, your self-worth. Remember, I gave you the story of the child who, when you're at that age and all you can do to get attention is cry, and your parents either come right away or they ignore you. The parent who always comes to their kid every time they cry, and they continue to treat them that way every time the kid has a temper tantrum, they appeal to the child. This child may grow up to be somebody who has a difficult time adjusting in life, because they're going to realize that people are not going to give them their way, and they're not going to know how to act. They don't know how to be told no. So, they could put themselves in situations where if they don't get their way, they could act out in some ways that are dangerous to themselves and others. Same thing in the opposite spectrum of a child who, they cry out and their parent never comes. That child grows up to think that, okay, I don't have to speak up because people are not going to pay attention. Let me not say nothing. Nobody really cares about my feelings anyway. And you get walked over, things like that. So this house is very important, the second house. So whatever it was that you learned as a child in reference to you reaching out for needs and getting your needs met, right, is being evaluated here. The spotlight is on it, all right? And the energies that are agitating this are the relationships you've been in. So you're looking at these relationships that you've attracted, and you say, okay, this is the scenario of someone being growing up in an environment where when they called out, this particular situation happened. And as a result, they've attracted these types of relationships as an adult. So you're looking at this now. This energy is shining light on that for you. And so the energies that you can use to help to move forward with this would be to tap into your fourth house energy, because that's where Aquarius is for you. Now, your fourth house energy talks about your personal feelings. Also, looking back at what went on in your childhood, the nurturing aspect of your relationship, what's been going on in your family. Maybe that's just how things were in your family. Maybe everybody didn't, attend to, or they didn't answer the kid unless they needed to, type of thing. Maybe that's just the way it is, a very cold environment, non-nurturing environment. And so you're looking back at the way you were raised with this fourth house energy. You're looking back at the nurturing influence, and you're processing this and understanding this so that you let this energy go. You don't let it keep holding you back. You don't hold it in that fixed water energy, right? Because this is going to help you move on, because the south node is going to now be in Scorpio. So Scorpio is all about releasing that negative energy, reaching up towards the north node, which is Taurus, to live in peace. So that's what the theme is going to be with this north node in Taurus, south node in Scorpio. Is people coming up out of toxic energy, people shedding all of that toxic skin, that toxic psychological bullshit that they've been through and that's been holding them back. And so this is the energy that's getting us ready to shed that, right? So that you can move on. It's helping us shed so we can start fresh and new with the new nodes on January 18th. So that's kind of what Scorpio is going to be dealing with those energies. So that's what I got for you guys. I hope that this made some sense to you and helps you to be able to use these energies in a way that are going to benefit you, and not just be somebody who's, you don't have any control over anything. You don't have control over much, but to be able to at least understand why you're feeling the way you're feeling is going to help you tremendously moving forward. At least oh, okay, it's the nodes, it's all this energy in my fifth house. All right, I know it'll pass once this transit passes. This is why it's important to understand astrology too. It'll help you keep you sane. You know what I mean? Like, you may not know, why am I feeling this way? And sometimes the answer is the planetary alignments. There's no other logical explanation for why you feel the way you feel sometimes. And when you put that into perspective and you start to understand that, you don't be so stressed out so much. It's like, all right, when this planetary alignment ends, Lord have mercy, I'll be glad when this energy is over. And you just cope with it and, figure out what you need to do to keep it moving. But that's the beautiful thing about understanding or trying to understand astrology. It's not easy, but once you start making sense of things, I'm telling you, your life will change. It's amazing. And this is why I share this, because it's changed my life. I mean, I can't even tell you. But I'm not going to bore you with all that. But I want to thank you guys for checking out the video. And don't forget, this is a new moon and a solar eclipse. So go ahead and put some affirmations out there, right? Write something down, burn it, write something down, store it someplace. Whatever you do, that you just reminded me to burn some ancestor money. Burn some ancestor money. Do whatever it is you need to do to celebrate this energy. Take your spiritual baths, because that's what I'm doing tonight as well, right? But put some good intentions out there. Manifest what you want. All right. Tap into those Aquarius energies. Saturn is telling you it's time to change things. So ask for, ask for the energy to deal with it. Ask for the patience to deal with it, the strength to deal with it. Whatever it is that you're trying to change and move forward with. So with that being said, you guys, I appreciate you checking out the video. And happy Sag season. Later.